What's going on, everybody? It's After the Snow, back at you again. I'm your co-host, Dave Mays. I'm the creator of the Source magazine many years ago for some of y'all. And also the co-founder and CEO of Breakbeat, which is a network that produces and distributes this podcast, After the Snow. And I got my co-host with me, by my side, my main man.
Know.
Yeah, Freeway Rick Ross, the legend. Yeah, the legend.
We rocking.
Yeah, man. Good to see you.
You too. How you feel?
Feeling pretty good. You know, been busy week, but getting things accomplished. Breakbeat is growing. I'm excited. I want to shout out to just the whole Breakbeat lineup. You know, Don't Call Me White Girl, Mona. Been doing her thing since we first launched. You know, Bill Bellamy, the new podcast, is doing incredible. He's doing an amazing job. That's going to just get bigger and bigger. And my boy Chris with Trapping Anonymous, I think his show is amazing. And I think that's going to go places. And Funny Marco with the Cornbread TV, of course, that's been blowing up these last month or two like crazy. So we're getting we're putting our stamp out there, our mark and our stake in the ground. So people are noticing.
That's a good thing. Man. We just got to keep pushing that thing in the right direction.
Yeah,
Get
man.
This After the Snow out there.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We came up with some more good ideas for that. We didn't have the guests this week that we thought we were going to have, but we do have a lot of interesting plans, and you will see some guests coming in the next few weeks here for sure.
I think the networks might have something to do with the guests not wanting to come on from the show and chop it up with us. It just seems obvious, because they're hitting us back. They're getting in touch, talking about how much they respect me and appreciate me giving them their props.
I heard our man Oso, I forget his name, the actor that plays Oso, showed you a lot of love on Instagram recently, how much he respected you. I was happy that you had reached out to him.
Yeah, he did, man. And he's one of my favorite actors on the show. I like the character that they wrote up for Oso, and I think that he's doing a great job.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be able to connect and put it together and get him on here. I'd love to talk to him. But tell me about your week, man. I know you had a big weekend in Dallas.
Oh my goodness, man. Dallas was off the change, man. Off the change. First of all, shout out to my man Desi. He threw a party down there for us Saturday. Crazy at the House of Blues. Man, we was all over the place, Dave. Me and my man Anthony Peterson. We trying to get Anthony that fight with Ryan Garcia, or either Telefimo or Josh Taylor, one of those guys. And don't care who it is. He just want to perform. He said he's an artist, and when he gets in the ring, he performs. But it was a Golden Boy show. We went down there to one of my guys, Kid Austin. He fought on the show, and he got a 6-round knockout. And in my personal opinion, and I know my opinion might be a little biased because I work with him, but he had the best performance of the night.
Wow.
Jorge Ortiz was the main event, but in my personal opinion, Kid had the best performance because Virgil's guy didn't want to fight. He was running and trying to stay out of the way. It wasn't an equal match where you want to see an equal match where both of the guys are equally skillful. Man, we did the radio station with who we do the radio station with, man. I forgot who it was. I did the radio station. I did so much, man. I did about 4 podcasts.
Dee in the morning.
No, it wasn't Dee in the morning. It was D Ellis. We did D Ellis and Smooth V. D Ellis and Smooth V 94 something. But it was just off. Dallas is just crazy, man. Those Texas cities are starting to become, like the new Atlanta. Houston,
Hmm.
Dallas, San
Hmm.
Antonio. They're more modern.
Interesting.
The streets are easy to navigate through, and I believe that they're gonna take a lot of Atlanta's fire, man. If Atlanta don't uh don't improve soon. Only
Yeah.
thing Texas needs is that cannabis right now, and,
Right.
and they're talking about that. They're talking about bringing cannabis in.
Okay.
So we had a
That'd be
great time, man. Stayed in one of my partner's mansion the whole time. You know, uh, Ant riding around in the Bentleys. He had two Bentleys, so he one day Ant drive one, the next day he drive the other one. So we just had a good time, man. We just eating good food, good vegan food. They got some great vegan restaurants
really
in Dallas. Oh yeah,
Dallas.
they got some
Oh,
great
nice.
great vegan restaurants. Um,
Can't wait for go out there and try them.
well, you know what? Ant may be fighting in Dallas October the 1st. So if he fights in Dallas
Okay.
October 1st, man, you got to come out, man.
Come. Yeah.
Come down there and
Yeah.
support your boy. Well,
Yeah. Well,
Gary
Texas
Payton
is yeah.
already
It's
said that he's coming to the next fight. Next one of my guys that fight,
oh,
Gary Payton said he's gonna be there. So
GP the
he coming
legend.
out. Yes, 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 yes. He's coming out
Yeah.
and hang out. Uh,
Nice.
but man, I just been having a wonderful time, man. I spoke to Reginald Hutton the other day. So it looked like we finna go ahead and lock down a director. That's the next move. We got to lock down a director, and hopefully, man, we're gonna have the cameras rolling here in a couple months. I got my fingers
Man.
crossed.
Man. Me too. I can't wait.
We
I'm
had
gonna
a
be
we had a
there on
big
that.
guy. Matter of fact, a big, big, big guy. From the music industry, and he does music. So I ain't gonna tell who the name was because I don't know if they signed the
Right.
deal yet, and if they want me talking about it. But they called me
Right.
yesterday, and he was in the office, and they was working on his deal to be a producer on the movie.
Good shit. Oh,
So
that's what's up, man. I can't wait.
we
Can't
cranking
wait.
up, man. Things is cranking up. And then last night, my truck rolled out to get its first load of cars. And so that was another accomplishment, man. I've been trying to get drivers for my diesel trucks. So I got one going now. So I was proud about
Okay.
that, man. I followed him all
Good.
the way to the freeway. I
Congratulations.
couldn't believe finally I got a driver to move that thing.
Oh man, nice, nice. So man, it sounds like a busy but productive week. And your fighter with the 6 round knockout, what's his name? And do you know his Instagram or
Oh yeah,
can
it's
Echo
Kid
get
Austin.
read it?
It's
Okay,
Kid Austin.
that's
Yeah,
his Instagram at
that's
Kid
his
Austin.
Instagram. Yeah, Kid
Okay.
Austin.
Well, shout out
So
to Kid Austin. Congratulations on the big win.
yeah, 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 yeah. Look for big things from him. We figure maybe 5 more fights, he'll be ready for a title fight for one of these big guys, making the crazy money.
Look forward to that. Look forward to that. Man, so good stuff, man. That's a good way to go into our conversation about Snowfall, season 2, episode 5. So we're halfway through the second season. Um, the episode title is Serpiente, um, which I'm pretty sure is the Spanish word for serpent. I didn't look that one up, and I'm not very good with Spanish, unfortunately. I would love to learn Spanish, but I think we can safely
Interpret.
say
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
I second that.
Yeah,
I
good,
second
good.
that.
So, I mean, it's obvious that Serpent is going to be relevant with the storyline that we see developing with Oso. Speaking of our guy Oso, and thank you, Tarek, for informing us of his name so I can shout him out properly. That's Sergio Perez Mencheta. He's the actor that plays Oso. So I want to show him some love and respect. Yeah, we really love your work and your character. Um, but yeah, so we see that
But start off
Serpent with this.
this show start off with him too. Remember at the palm reader?
It does. It does. Yeah.
Yes. With him getting his
And
palm
she's
read.
telling him. Right, and he picks the
Be
serpent
careful.
card right at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
forgot about he picked the card. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah, so she's warning him about there's some things, some danger in front of him to
yeah,
be careful.
and yeah, she was right, as we find out, for sure by the end of the episode. But there's a lot of things going on. I don't know if they all relate to the serpent. I guess while we talk about it, we can see, because maybe there's some other snakes laying in the grass around here for some of these other characters. But I mean, this was I thought it was a pretty exciting, dramatic episode in terms of some of the plot developments that take place for an episode 5. To me, it felt strong, because a lot of times it feels like shows kind of start to hit a lull. They come out the gate strong in these series, and they end really strong, but it's hard to keep it, exciting throughout the middle that we're in right now. So I thought there were a lot of pretty interesting developments. So we could talk about those. One was the return of Avi. That's one of the first things we see when the episode gets underway. Avi shows up at Franklin's crib. I think it's his mom's crib. I wasn't clear where he was, because there was nobody at the house, and Avi and his guys surround him, and putting some pressure
Yeah,
on him a
it
little
did
bit.
look a little weird, because it did kind of favor his mom's house a little bit, but you really couldn't tell if it was or not. One of the things that
Hmm.
really shocked me about Avi coming in the community, he come in the community making it rain, throwing money up in the
Right.
middle of the streets, like he wanted everybody in the neighborhood to know who he is, where he was at. It was just a little strange to me
Right.
that somebody would come into the community who's selling dope and would be in the middle of the street throwing up money. Not saying that it's impossible, but
Right.
definitely strange.
Right. It is interesting that you point that
And if he
out.
did that in front of my house, I'd been so mad. When you're
Right.
selling dope, you don't want any attention around your house. You want as less attention
Right.
as possible. For somebody to
Sure.
be having everybody looking at what you're doing, would definitely be uncomfortable. But it didn't look like Franklin was concerned about that. He was more concerned about why did Avi come over there.
Yeah, he was definitely seemed like he was nervous, because he didn't expect Avi to get out of jail. Avi popped up on him. Avi wants to know, basically tells him, "Okay, we're back to business. Now that I'm back, same thing. I'm going to see you next week," and just trying to feel him out, put a little pressure on him, and yeah, he looked
He put a
pretty.
lot of
He looked
pressure.
pretty
He put a lot
concerned.
of pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
He was applying the pressure heavy.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about pouring gasoline down the guy who ratted on him's throat and set it on fire. And
Yeah.
I mean, really, he was giving Franklin one of those Godfather offers. One of those offers you can't refuse. Like we
Right.
going back in business, the price gonna be the same, and everything gonna be just like it used to be. So
Right.
to me, that was almost like a Godfather offer. Like motherfucker, you take it or else.
But what did you think about how Franklin handled that? Did you think he, came off a little bit too soft, or?
I thought he came off soft, no, I could understand right at that time, Avi had the upper hand on him, because his guys was there. Franklin didn't have nobody with him, no protection and nothing like that there. So I could understand you kind of cowering down a little bit, but he kept it going even after he got with Teddy, which is what really alarmed me. You're talking about a guy who's running South Central LA right now. And he has the power of 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 South Central, the
Mm-hmm.
gangs. When you have that kind of power, you don't really cower down to nobody.
Right. Right. Like we were talking about earlier, when he finds out his mom has taken a job at this local diner, um, and he shows up on a job, and he flips on the old man that's complaining about his coffee, throws the coffee down in front of him, and you know he didn't have that same energy when it came to Avi.
Exactly, exactly. So it kind of that's kind of like almost bullyish, like if it's somebody that got some iron, I ain't gonna say nothing back to him. But then if it's a little guy an old man, I'm gonna slam his coffee on the table and dare him to say anything.
Right, right.
Which the guy was in his
Yeah,
right for asking for his coffee. If he paid for it or if he was gonna pay for it, give him his coffee. So you can't get
that's
mad at
right.
the guy because your mom chose that job.
Right. Yeah, he was pissed about everything. I guess his dad showing up also kind of threw him off. He's not really sure how to handle this new relationship with his dad, or his dad being back in the mix, and he's dealing already with the fallout with his mom, and now the dad's in the middle of it all. So I think that has him kind of
Yeah, but you
off
can't
beat a little
be,
bit.
you can't keep a grudge, if somebody messes up. It's like, come on now. If the guy turned into a dope fiend, he somehow he got strung out on dope, and then you know, and I guess they don't really know how he got hooked on dope. His son probably don't really know how people get hooked on dope because he's really new in the business. But you have to show some kind of concern, with somebody that is on drugs. You have to give them some kind of concern and some kind of benefit of the doubt. Like he's still a good person. It still could be a good person just because they're on dope. Just because they're on dope don't mean that they're no good slime ball. And that's kind of how he was treating his dad, as if his dad was a straight slime ball, and if he's never done anything right. Uh, I just thought it was kind of messed up.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, so just finishing the thought with Avi, after he leaves, Franklin is meeting with Teddy and wanting to know what's going on. How did Avi get out? Uh, Teddy, well, as he calls him, Reed, still at this point, Reed is telling him that he thinks Avi cut a deal with the feds. Franklin wants to know how did Reed find this information out, and he's really paranoid. Is he going to set me up? And but they have Reed give a few of those lines that you get in Snowfall, where he says, "Oh, Avi's rich and he's white, so that's why he's able to get away with all this and get out." And uh, then they have Franklin saying, "Oh, well, basically, white people don't have a good record with my people, so I shouldn't be trusting you." And he says, "White people are afraid of black people. It should be the other way around." So they get their little stances in at these moments as well. But what'd you think about all that?
I thought they was both kind of corny. Like back then, nobody wasn't even really talking about race. Especially not in the hood. We didn't deal with the court system, so we really didn't know at that time. That the court system wasn't blind, wasn't colorblind. You only learn that out once you go to court. And as far as from where I'm at in the show right now, Franklin hasn't had any interaction with the courts or really the police. I guess. Well, I guess he did have a little interaction with the police when Leon got shot. I guess that was a little interaction, but for the most part, he hasn't had any police contact, any court contact. So how would he? What would give him the idea that uh, uh, whites are treated different than blacks or blacks are treated different than whites? You only know that when somebody either tells you or you experience it. And
Right,
from here, we
right.
haven't shown experience neither one. If I'm not wrong, I mean I don't think we have. Have we?
Um, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean the closest police contact we had is with the next door neighbor. he probably put the
Right.
most pressure on Franklin as a police officer. So, and he didn't have him like when we were growing up. Cops would make us sit on the curb. That was kind of like a normal thing in L.A. To make black youth sit on the curves. Or young people who were driving while black. They would make them sit on the curb and things like that there. But so far, they haven't showed any of that in the series of
No.
how blacks were being mistreated.
No, not at all. Um, so I guess we could jump to one of the other big, occurrences, dramatic moments in the episode, which is the shootout with Stomper that takes place. So Stomper, remember, runs the Monarcas, the big Mexican gang. They're the ones that they got to help them kill Lucia's uncle and family so that they could take over the business, and they're helping them move the product. And so I guess he shows up to make a pickup, and he sees Pedro there. And he makes a little smart comment to Pedro about how's your family doing, that type of thing. Pedro had some words, and that basically said our boy Oso stepped in to try to defuse it, but Stomper wasn't going for it. Stomper pulled the knife out, put it to Oso's neck, and next thing you know, there was a shootout. Stomper, I think one of his other guys are dead. Lucia gets shot in the shoulder, and it's a dramatic moment in the show for sure.
Well, that's when we see Pedro's girl take charge. She kind of took charge in that situation, and that's when,
Soledad.
huh?
Soledad, that's his new
That's her,
girlfriend's name.
that's her name, Soledad. Well, Soledad took over in
Yeah.
there. Her, her, her,
She was
her police training came into effect, and I think that tipped everybody off to who she really was.
right. That's what we see at the end with Lucia telling Oso she's a fed, a cop, something or other, because the way she
We done.
handled that situation.
We
Yeah.
done. They
Yeah.
own us.
She's very worried about everything now, how they're going to get out of this one. And we'll see. We'll
I was
see.
really wondering why they really didn't make an arrest. Like because technically they were responsible for Stomper's name death. If you
Right.
kill somebody, if somebody gets killed in the middle of a crime here in California, you know, whoever was committing the crime with them is responsible for that death. So technically, they could have wiped Oso and Lucille's criminal enterprise out right there. They would have been done. 3 murders,
Hmm.
they'd have been in jail forever. They never would have got out for that.
Well, because what they try to say in the show is that well, she's working on getting the bigger fish, and they're building the case. That's why they ain't done nothing. So in a situation like that, do you think they would still come in and make the arrest to get some leverage to try to turn them, or do you think they would maybe fall back? I mean, overlooking a death like that, or 2 deaths at least, is a pretty
3,
big deal. But yeah.
3. It
Okay.
was 3
It was 3
deaths.
of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I find that kind of bizarre and kind of hard because what they would have to take in consideration is by leaving Lucille and Oso on the streets was a danger to the community. And the reason I say that is because where they go, violence happens. Even if they're not the one perpetuating the violence, they're still associated with violent acts, and violent acts is taking place around them. So if they're in the drug business and they know they're in the drug business and these type of things are taking place, they'll definitely take action. I think they definitely would take action on that.
So that was a big thing. They show them burying the bodies at the end. Pedro, I think, also took Pedro to help him go bury the bodies. Um,
They
but
got bodies strewn all around the city, man. LA full of bodies. Then we got Teddy with
hopefully,
2 bodies. We got Oso with bodies.
right, right.
What's the other guy that Teddy killed? He had killed the 3 girls, and
Oh,
we got bodies. We got bodies everywhere, man.
yeah, that's true. Oh man. So what else? What else in this episode? I want to talk a little bit more about well, we could talk let's talk about Louis and Claudia and Jerome. It's not a major storyline in this episode, but Louis with Claudia, she left Jerome. Jerome got some chick over the house that's cursing him
A
out and
hood rat.
leaving.
A hood rat.
Yeah.
We call him hood
Uh,
rats.
Meanwhile, Louis apparently just got back from a Christmas week in New York City where she was wined and dined, first class shopping, everything all over New York City. Claudia done swept her off her feet, and she wants to
Louis
stay with
loving it.
Claudia.
And Louis say she
Yeah,
loving it.
yeah,
Louis say,
exactly.
I ain't going back to cooking no rocks.
Yeah, she's looking more glamorous and everything now. And Franklin's trying to get her back. He said, "Man, things ain't the same without you. We need you. I miss you, but we need you." And
She
she
tell him,
said,
y'all
"Not
gonna
yet."
do all right.
Yeah,
Y'all gonna do all right without me. Yeah, so
yeah.
that was kind of interesting chain of events. Um, but I don't think that Franklin used the right technique to get her back. He never offered her more money. I never heard him say, "Well, we're gonna give you more money. We're gonna increase your pay number," or none of that. He just basically went back, kind of like
True.
almost, just feel like she's just gonna come back because he's Franklin. You know what I'm saying? No
Right.
benefit when
Right.
she's getting all these benefits now. Her life is changed. But I guess once they start rolling in the game, then she'll see the benefits and change her mind probably.
We'll see. We'll see if Uncle Jerome is going to step up and do something to get her back because he don't seem happy. But man, so there was that, and really the only other thing I thought about that I wanted to bring up was like if it I feel like Franklin is starting to get some kind of a sense of who Reed or Teddy is, or that the level that he's on. When they go, we didn't really follow up on that, but when they go to see Avi and Teddy takes him up to see Avi, and Teddy says, "Look, Avi, I'm the one that approached Franklin. He didn't cut you out and come to me." He's trying to squash that, but he starts speaking Hebrew to Avi a couple of times. I know Franklin was like, "Damn, this dude freaking speaks Hebrew," and he knows information. When they talk later, he's telling Franklin, "Yeah, I think he made a deal with the feds, and I got a source at the police department and different things like that." So I'm feeling like Franklin is started to get some sense that he's dealing with a higher power, and I guess I wanted to see what you thought about that, but also really bring that back to your personal experience. If there was any time at all where you had any kind of inkling or feeling like there was a bigger kind of picture or somebody pulling some strings behind the scenes.
Nah, when you're selling drugs, you wanna pat yourself on the back that you're the reason that everything is going the way it is, and kind of I guess it's ego. Your ego is playing a part in it, and you just feel like it's you. You feel like you're making the right decisions, um, and that you figured the game out. I used to figure that I had the cops number. Where I knew what time they were going to hit. Like say for instance, at one time the cops were hitting around 7, 8 o'clock at night. So what we started doing is we started cooking our dope up at 3 and 4 in the morning. So just little things like that, trying to stay one step ahead of what the cops are doing, and try to maneuver.
So this was another good show. I think we had good conversation today. Looking forward to next week as usual, and more good things. I don't know. Was there any other things you saw during this episode that we didn't touch on yet?
Well, one of the things that I'm gonna hype on a little more is that after his dad cleaned up, Franklin still didn't open up to him and give him a chance. I thought that was kind of fucked up on his part. And his dad was really concerned about not himself, but helping his mom save the house that Franklin had grew up in. And I thought Franklin should have showed more passion to his dad. My dad, I didn't know my dad, but I still, whenever I saw him, I always showed him respect. And I feel that that's something that Franklin should have showed more respect to his dad. I thought he was very disrespectful to his dad.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that kind of on the earlier part of the season, when his dad first showed up and when he seen him on the street and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this one was, it's different now. The dad seems to be doing better. And even Franklin's mom is seeing that because, she ends up, instead of kicking him out, telling him to stick around, let's go make some dinner. She's starting to feel like he's maybe changing for the better, finally giving him a chance at least.
And she said too in one of the statements that this was the easiest he'd ever been to work with.
Right. She said that to him. Yeah, she said to her husband, she said, out of your whole life, this is the least you've been of a burden on me while you've been staying with me. So
exactly. Well, your memory good. You remember word for word what she said.
I take notes when I watch the show so I can remember as much as possible. But yeah, that was.
That's why I'm glad I'm doing this show with you, man. I don't think I would have did this show with nobody else.
No, thank you, man. Thank you, and thank you for posting that thing about me today too. I meant to tell you that on the phone earlier, but yeah,
no doubt. Well, I told you I had a lot of admiration for you even when I first went to prison, man. When I got to Phoenix, Arizona, my first time in a penitentiary is when I got a hold to the source, and I admired your work from that day when it was only two. The thing about it, I saw your vision.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to see your vision through those couple of pages that they had. It was 2 black and white pages, and I saw the vision. So
great minds think alike.
Keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah. Well, as I've said many times before, man, it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to work with you like this on a weekly basis. And, I think you're an amazing person. We've got to know each other a lot better, and I have even more love and respect for you. But just knowing your story and what you went through and what, how significant you are to the history of things in this country, you're like a national treasure that needs to be preserved, at least up until we really get some things changed around these parts. And you know what I mean? Bring some real change out here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And that's our goal, is to change that mindset.
Yeah, that's right. So, all right, well, shoot, man. Next week we'll be back after the snow. This is the podcast. You can, if you're listening to us, you find us on Apple, Spotify, any podcast app out there. If you're watching, of course, you're on the Breakbeat Media YouTube channel. You can check us out on Instagram at Breakbeat Media. I'm at The Real Dave Mays, at Freeway Ricky.
Yes, that's me.
We thank y'all for tuning in.
Send us some comments. Let us know what y'all want us to talk about. Which guests you want us to get. Come on, y'all got to help us out. We need some help.
There we go. Thank you. Peace.